Howdy folks, how you doing? Welcome on in to the Guitar Show Oz. I'm Manny. This is our Saturday stream. And it's good to see you guys in the house. Asus is in the house. How you doing, buddy? Big shout out to Asus, please. Terry. Terry's in the house. How you doing, Terry? Lone Mountain, the big stabby man. Blades of Glory. How you guys going? Who else have we got? Blackstone, Mr. Blackstone in the house as well. Second, almost. Doesn't matter. After first, no one remembers anyway. Just kidding. Everyone's well, I trust. Thank you very much for being here. We're going to do some more routing today because I'm on a routing mood. There's our body. Those clamps seem to have done the job. Terry, good job yesterday getting all those clamps on there. There's our body. We've chambered it. We've got our F-hole. We've got to do the carve out the cavities for the pickups. We have to obviously get this flush first. So I'm going to do a little bit of sanding and then I'm going to do a little bit of routing to get this guy pretty much flushed out and get it flush, and then we can work on getting the pockets cut in here. I've got the other camera outside. I'm going to just leave you here while I do some sanding on this guy and get this baseline nice and flat so that we can run that router along there. There were some tear outs that we fixed with some putty, and we're just going to sand those flat and then we're good to go. Hopefully everyone's okay. Hope you're having a great Friday night. If you are in the Northern Hemisphere, it's obviously your Friday, and I hope you're going to have a good weekend. We're all wired up here for the weekend and ready to go. Everybody, dinner time. No problems, Lone Mountain. Enjoy that. It's my lot in life. Terry, it is your lot in life, and you do it so well. So I must congratulate you on that. If anyone's going to bust my chops, it's going to be Terry, and she does a good job of it, and I don't mind one little bit. I mean that as a compliment. She can bust my chops anytime because she's good at it. We're going to sand these edges nice and flat. Make sure there's no little bumps anywhere because we're going to run the router bearing along there and trim the top, the carved top, to the same profile so we can start working on getting the cavities routed, and then we can start working on the carve, planning for the carve. So I'm going to just quickly rub off any excess glue. Hank is wet sanding. I am dry sanding. There's not much you can do about that. It's a sad state of affairs. If all that you are reduced to is working and watching Hank sand. But it's important. It's an important part of Hank's work to watch him sand. Absolutely. There they are. Those emotes of Hank sanding. Nice and smooth. That's feeling really good. I need a little bit in there. I'm going to grab a little bit of putty and just touch up a little spot that's a bit flat. Just going to put a tiny little squidgen right there. There's just a tiny little flat spot. I just want to address that with a little bit more putty. That'll dry in about, 10, 15 minutes. We'll sand it flat. Just a little bit more. Not too much. Just enough to get that nice and smooth. There. That's closed that up, so that's going to be nice and smooth. We'll continue on the rest of the body. Okay. so we'll work up here. Just feeling that mainly to make sure that it's flat. Yeah, that's pretty good. Another bit of tear out at the back here that we filled out. Lovely, that's nice and flush now. That tear out is gone and we're looking good. Vicky, how you doing, Vicky in Paradise? Good to see you. Welcome back. How is Paradise treating you? And Willie Won't Go in the house. Aces, that's awesome. Everybody check out Aces when you get a chance. If you haven't subscribed or if you haven't followed him, please do yourself a favour. It sounds like a lovely and interesting piece that he's about to build, and we should all get on there and support him and check it out. So thank you very much, mate, for letting us know. Hopefully that will go nicely for you. Okay, so we've sanded that guy. That's pretty good. So showing that's the cap we glued on yesterday, guys and girls. And the reason you're not seeing my face at the moment is because I've got the other camera outside. Here I am. The other camera's outside, and we're going to go out and route this to flush to the body. So I'm just using the laptop camera, tilting that down, and showing you just getting this stuff sanded before I finish off and get ready to route outside. So we're just going to keep going around here. This is pretty good. We're getting there. Just getting any little bumps out there, because we're going to run the bearing along here and cut this flush with it. Then we're going to start looking at marking out the pickup cavities and the neck pocket. So that's what's going to come first after we route the sides. And once we do that routing, we can then worry about routing the carve. Nice. We're going to prime this. We're going to get a primer in a spray can. We're going to prime this with a couple of coats of sealer primer undercoat. Seal that all in. We're going to then, once it's carved of course, and then we're going to give it a couple of top coats of a matte charcoal or a matte black finish. So we're going to try that. Excellent, Vicky. Excellent. That's what we like to hear. Everything is A-OK with you. That's great. Aces is joining Hank on the podcast. Excellent. I will catch that. That's going to be awesome. Work our way around. little bit of tear out here that we've puttied, and I'm just checking that. I'm just sanding all that back and seeing what that looks like. That's coming along nicely. We're almost there. It's feeling good. That's coming along nicely. A little bit of a bump there. See if I can sand that out. Karen in the house. What have we got? 5 months from the Kaz. Thank you very much, Karen. Appreciate your ongoing support. There's a vacuum going in the other area. You hear that big vac sucking out lots of dust. Thank you very much, Karen, for your ongoing support. I appreciate that. And hello, how are you? And let's get a big shout out for that lady. Check out Karen when she does her burn thing. Burn you like a lightning bolt, she will. Good to see you here. We're just sanding this body. We've got the cover on. It's all glued up. Okay. We've got to get these edges trimmed up now, flush to this body. We've got to cut that neck pocket out. We've got to cut those 2 cavities out before we plan the carve. So I'm just sanding the edges and getting them nice and flush, nice and smooth, and making sure that the basis of this shape is nice and ready and the foundations for that are good. So I'm just sanding my way around, making sure that things are looking up and not looking down. Things are looking good, as we say. Going to tilt you down there. I've got the other camera outside ready for some routing, so I've tilted my single camera inside. Not happy, Jan. There's a couple little spots here that I need to flatten out. So I just got to keep working until I get those nice and flat. Yeah, that's not good. I'm going to need some more filler in here just to build that up a little bit, just a very light skim. Grab some more putty. Just a very light skim coat, just to get a little bit of a waver out of there. Just a very light skin coat. Most of that will come off. Most of that will come off, but I need to let it dry, of course, so we're not going to be able to route that. What we're going to do is we're going to get back to the other neck, and we're going to probably do the cartoon on the neck while this dries. Just raising that little gap. There's a little tiny waver. I want to make that nice and smooth. A little bit of putty, a little bit of Timbermate. Just feeling my way around that and just making sure that I'm losing there. That feels pretty good now. If I sand that flush, it's going to be a pretty good finish, I think. Again, this is getting painted, so we don't care about any putty on there. Most of that will get sanded off. There's a couple of little styrations in there that I needed to smooth out. That's going to do the job. We'll work along here now and get this side all sanded up here, and then we'll be pretty much in a position to do a bit more work while that dries. So let's keep going. Smooth. Smooth. Big bowler, what's going on? Big shout out for the bowler. Thank you, Terry. And Hoodie's in the house. Sue's in the house. How you doing, Susie? How you doing, Hoodie? Good to see you guys. Dana! What's going on? Good to see you too. Welcome on in, guys and girls. Welcome on in. Smooth. Got to make a baby bottom smooth. It's mainly to get any bumps out of there so that when we run the bearing around there, it doesn't replicate those bumps on the top. As you know, that bearing is going to sit on there like that and run along that edge. And that bearing is going to need to be nice and flush if we're going to cut this without wavering. So I'm just getting rid of any little tiny bumps. Give it a nice smooth transition so that we have a completely flush piece of cap on this guy. Looking good. This is a commission build. How you doing, Big Bowler? I'm well, mate. Thank you for asking. It's not the giveaway, Sue. Absolutely not. The giveaway, for those that haven't seen it, is this guy here. Okay, we've got a bit more work to do on that body. I'm giving it a rest at the moment because I've got to get some more paint for these guys here. That's the giveaway body there. There's your cartoons there. So we're working on that guy as well, but letting that wrist for a minute so I can get a little bit of a jump on this. So bear with me. We're almost there. We're going to keep sanding this guy. Hoodie with a 12K grit, not quite hoodie, but thank you for your enthusiasm. It's always welcome. Need to skim that. There's a couple of little tiny micro bumps there. I just want to fill those and make sure we get a nice, perfectly smooth surface. I'm just going to run this straight across that guy. There. There we go. So that will sand off, and that will be fine when we sand that guy off. This guy's all done. We've got a little bit here that we're drying off. This needs to now dry, so I'm going to put this aside. That means I'm going to bring the camera. I'm going to bring the camera that I had outside for the routing back inside. Give me a second. Okay. Let's get back to the bench. Let's get this guy out. Okay, and we're going to work on getting some of these bubbles drawn up here. So I need to erase what I did here yesterday. And I'm going to draw the bubbles in there now, the speech bubbles. Okay, we're going to pop in the speech bubbles. So you're depressed and broke feeling tonight. I want to put gas in my truck. Wow, $100 is that's what we generally spend here. Have been doing so for a long time, between 80 and $100. It's expensive. The tip I have for young players, and I'm going to have a little rant now. It's not a rant, it's just a little bit of advice. Don't buy from the big retailers. Don't buy from the big supermarket chains. Don't buy your oil or your gas or your petroleum or your unleaded or your E10 or whatever you want to call it from the big boys. Buy it from the little independent. Stick it up the big boys. Get them to go take a flying leap at themselves, as I like to say. So anything that's supermarket related, big conglomerates, monopolizers, flick them off. Get into the little guy down the road. Go to the independent and get your oil and your gas from the independent, and screw the big boys because they're screwing us. Rant over. Very cramped. As we get down here, we get smaller and smaller. Just trying to get the sizing right at the moment, guys. Very difficult with the last bubble. I might not do that. I'm going to just put the words in. I'm not going to use a cartoon up here. Not going to work either. Too big. So I need to think about that. We'll go back to the bubble. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. That might work. It's all about proportionality. I need to make sure that it looks okay in terms of proportion. That's going to work. I'm going to do it. That size there is going to work. Okay. The thing I've noticed when you do target the big boys and you don't shop there anymore, their prices come down. They get the message very, very quickly. It surprises me still how asleep most people are as to what these big boys are doing to us. They're trying their luck, and most of the time they're winning because no one's questioning or second guessing them. Okay, that's gonna fit. Okay, that's cool. I need to get Elvis's head in here. Just his lips, I think, his big luba lips. I might leave him for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work on getting this guy done and painted. So let's get some paint out. Those bubbles in there. So they're going to look okay, I think. Those bubbles are the right size. They're going to look okay. Once we mark them in black, they're going to look fine. $2.34 a litre. Are you serious? Where are you at, Blackstone? It's $2 here, which is about $8-9 a gallon if you're talking to the Americans. Yeah, those price checks aren't too bad, Sue. Unfortunately, they're all pretty much sponsored by the big boys, so they're only really telling you what they want you to know. They don't cover. Suede is with a U. That's right, Terry. Absolutely. I've got to check my spelling. Of course I do. I'm just going to get the art lines done first. I'm going to paint that white now, so I know what I'm doing there. Get rid of those letters. That's sized it up for me. I've got the borders. I'm going to paint the inside of that white because we want it to pop so you can read it. It's very difficult to read against that Canadian maple there. Okay, those little guys are looking good. We're just going to paint those white. Ah, damn it. Smudged it. So cute. Just to whiten it a little bit, it'll make the letters pop and make them more readable. That would be mad. Sure enough, there he is, right on cue. Gonna be right on cue, right on cue. Maverick, what are you up to? How you going, brother? Good to see you. Welcome on in. This paint ain't really working that well. I'm trying to get that to... Still see the maple under it. It's almost translucent. Oh, here we go. It's starting to really kick in now. I don't want it to go too bold, stark white. I do want to see the maple underneath it, but it's just giving it a little bit more oomph, so that we can read it when we write in black pen. It's getting the right shade now. I don't know how Bud did it. Good old Hank Bud. I don't know how he did it. Seriously, he was an illustrator. He was a cartoon illustrator, a comic illustrator. He's a graphic artist. I mean, I liked it. I always wanted to be able to draw, but I just never learned how to do it properly. I just do things off the cuff now, and whatever comes out, I go with. I mean, have an eraser. You're like me, Terry. I've got to rub things out until I get them right. Sometimes I try for hours. It's like music too. If I'm writing something or if I'm trying to record something and I'm muddling my way through it because I'm pretty useless at that too. And then I just sort of say, right, I've struggled for 2 hours. I'm going to leave it aside. I'm going to walk away and go and beat my head against a brick wall for a day or two. Then I'm going to eat something. Then I'm going to go and sleep. When I come back, you pick it up and it's like, okay, first time off the rank. First cab off the rank, bang, done, perfect. So sometimes you've got to walk away from it, I find, to come back and pick it up and really deliver what you were intending to deliver. I do a pretty good job. So that's all. There's our little bubbles. You can see them. They're looking quite good. Very, very comic strip, isn't it? I need to get Elvis on there somehow, but first I'm going to put the words on there. So I'm going to try and use the ink because it just looks a little bit finer with the pen, with the brush tip. It's a little bit tricky. I'm going to let that dry though first. Give that a little bit of time to dry and make sure that. While we do that, we're going to have a drink and we're going to chat to you guys and see what you guys are up to. Schultz, Leslie, you remember that guy? Cheers, big ears. Here's the comic books and here's the Schultzy and here's the Peanuts and Charlie Brown. Oh, thank you very much. Cheers, big ears. You missed it. Snoopy, that's the one, Karen. You know Snoopy. Snoopy's cute. He's black and white. In actual fact, I want to do two other themed guitars. I want to do a Snoopy guitar and I want to do a Captain America guitar. Those two are on the cards, but I don't know when and I don't know where or how. It will happen one day. We'll see. Cheers, big ears. Thank you, Hoodie. Willie, you didn't miss anything. Here we go for Willie's benefit. There's our thought bubbles there, Willie. Look at them painted in nice black and white. Okay, you can see those guys. Okay, now I've got to get Elvis somehow onto there. But first things first, I'm going to get the words on there first. That needs to dry. Give that a few minutes. I don't want to hit it with too much of the heat gun. It'll crack. It'll dry prematurely. It is water-based acrylic. Snoopy's awesome. Ha! Excellent, Dana. Was it the one? Aman, baby, was your Uncle Charlie the one that sorted out Charlie Brown? Was he behind Charlie Brown? Ha! Sue, that's excellent that you do the photography. I love photography, but mainly astrophotography. I do deep space stuff, except I don't have a telescope anymore. I'm looking at fitting out eventually when I get some money together a good telescope, a good 600 mil, like a couple of foot, sort of a 6 or an 8-inch lens on it, and I've got all the T junctions and the camera lens connectors and things. I'd love to do that and have it like an azimuth synchronized, turn and move with the galaxy as it moves, and do some long exposures of deep space stuff. I really, really love that stuff. Okay, that's drying up. We're getting there. I don't want to rush it too much. I'm going to just let that dry for a bit more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a file. I did put that last fret in that was missing. So let's do that fret work while we wait for that to dry for a few minutes. I'm going to grab a file. I'm just going to work on that fret right on the end here and take that last little fret there, and we're going to pretty much just get that guy level. Yeah, good lens is good, but the good thing with astrophotography, Sue, is you just need a fast lens. Something with an f-stop of about 2.8 is more than enough to do the Milky Way and some of the deep space stuff. As long as it's quick, it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be like a massively telephoto lens or anything like that. Just a fast lens and hopefully a mirrorless sensor camera. At the moment, my camera's got mirrors. It's a Canon, but it's not that new. I need to get a mirrorless sensor camera, because that'll help with the star styrations and it'll help with the actual framing of the photos. So lots of work to do. I need about $1,000. I think about $1,000 will get me a new Canon or a new Nikon. I'm a Canon man, but I don't mind the Nikons. They're both pretty much similar these days. There is a Sony that's got a built-in lens system, and you can literally take Milky Way shots on a tripod without a telescope. It's awesome, and I've done 30-second exposures with just a normal camera and a hood over a lens, a telephoto lens, and I've managed to get some Milky Way shots. They're not as defined as you would want to, as you see on those some of those stock photos that you see out there, but you can still see the Milky Way and all the galaxies and stuff in it's just not as defined as you would get from the proper lenses, because I didn't have the exact astro lens that I need. The lens isn't bad. It's only about $400, which isn't bad. But the telescope's about $3,500 if you want to get one on a motorized tripod that moves with the Earth, so that you don't blur, you don't get star trails. It moves at the same rate. You can lock in and triangulate to a target, and it'll move as you move. And keep that target focused so that it doesn't blur, which is for long exposures, like 30 to 60 second exposures. And then you've got to take about 30 shots and layer them so you get the depth. Space photography is really interesting. I need to do more. I've just started dabbling, and I've learnt a lot, but I'm only a novice, so there's still a lot more to learn. Getting that guy down like that, and then we'll be able to file that guy and get him to 45 degrees. I'm just going to do it by hand because it's only the one file that we want to do. It's only the one guy that we want to do. I'm going to use a less coarse file now that I've got that guy down to where I want him. Once we do that, actually, I'm going to level him first. So I'm going to take that guy down. Just flatten him and then just crown him. And then I'm going to, I'll flatten him, then do the 45 on the beveled edges. This one doesn't need to be anywhere near these. It can be lower than these two because it's out of play. It's just there for looks more than anything. I'm going to check the height of that, make sure it isn't higher than the one before it. That's the key here. And I'm just going to do that across these two and see if it rocks. It is higher. I need to bring that down a bit more. That's good. That will do. We'll do the 45. Bevel there. The other side. Okay, we can crown that guy now. A bit of blue on there, grab our file. That paint's dried up, we'll be able to write on those bubbles in a minute. Whew. That's awesome, Dana. I took a photo of the moon once. It was a blood moon. And I took a photo. Unfortunately, clouds got in the way. But I did get some interesting lighting effects. I like lunar shots too. Some of those, especially a full moon, they look fantastic. An eclipse would be awesome. Okay, that's good. We can polish that guy later. I'm going to leave that alone. That's got no jagged edges. That's pretty good as it is. I'm going to start writing the little phrases up here now. So I'm grabbing my black pen and we'll give that a go and see what that looks like. If it doesn't work, I'm going to rub it out and I'm going to probably pencil that in or pen it in and then oil over it. But I want to try and use this brush to make it look like it's brush stroked. So don't. Very fine. Very strokey. Very comic strip. Ah, I knew that would stuff up. Hey! That's crap, guys and girls. Rub that out. I know it's ink, I'm just going to take it all off. And we'll work on that again. cocoa white. Just cover that guy up. We'll do the rest while that dries. Oh, God. Colour that one in as well. It smudges very, very easily, so I might have to use another pen. I'll see if I've got a nice fine black pen. I just need to get it legible and neat. I don't need smudgies. Just paint over that. I'm going to try one more time. Let's check our body and see how that's going. I'm just going to let that sit for a while. More difficult than I thought. It's trying to fit all that in one little tiny space and make it really, really clear. Is there a small smudge of white on the side of the third panel? Probably, Terry, and I'll clean that up. It's fine. I've got to check it out before I write everything else there. There probably is a small smudge. Just catching up with the chat, seeing how we're all doing. Suede, absolutely. S-U-E-D-E. What did I do? What did I type? S-U-E-D-E? Is that what I typed? Terry, correct me. Did I type S-U-E-D-E? Thought I did. That's how I would spell it, I think, unless I mistyped it, thinking one thing and actually writing another. Did I have an A? Sorry. It had to be an E. Of course. Thank you for picking that up. That's why I rubbed it out. I knew there was something wrong. They look very thoughtful thought bubbles. Willie, they're actually voice bubbles. There's no dots. He's not thinking it. He's saying it because Elvis is a bit, as you know. He's special. Suede with an E. Yeah, that's right. Hoodie, you love the stream. Good, man. We love having you here as well. Let's check this body out. So we've got this guy here. This is the guy that needs to be carved. We need to get that flush. We were just busy earlier on filling in a couple little spots that were a little bit on the rough side, and that's dried up now. I'm going to sand that guy flat. The other side's still a bit wet, but we're going to get a little bit more sanding done right here. That's really pretty much done. And once that's sanded, it should be pretty good. Okay, that's flat now. That's perfect. So there's no bumps there anywhere. That's pretty cool. Okay. Okay, we run over that. That's nice and flat. Check this side here. That's nice and flat too. We had some on the back here. This stuff's a little bit on the wet side. I might be able to take some of that off. I'm going to work on that. It's pretty good. Yeah, a little bit. Needs a little bit more curing. I'm just going to take a little bit off and see what that's holding on like. Take the excess off. There's a lot of excess there. It'll help it dry as well. Okay, that's not too bad. That's pretty good. Still needs a little bit more. But that's not too bad at all. Okay, so we've got that guy. Now what we need to do is we need to do this top section. That's pretty good. Really happy with that. That's flat as. So that's good. That's filled in nicely. We'll clear this out and then we may as well get out there and route this guy. Okay. So we can route this guy outside now. What I'm going to do is move that camera, take that camera outside. I'm going to set that up, and then we're going to take this guy outside, route the edges while that neck dries. And while we think about those thought bubbles, voice bubbles, we're going to take that outside and route that edge. So let's see how we go. Always topical. The black pens should be fiber, Leslie. I've got this one here that I'm using. At the moment, I'm struggling with because it is a brush tip, but it's a very fine brush tip, but it's it's not too long. It's a bit flat. So what it does is if I turn, it's meant to be a calligraphy pen or calligraphy brush. So if you were doing nice fancy script writing, you'd get the nice thick transitions where you need them to be. But I'm trying to write with the point, with the tip It's a little bit on the difficult side to control. So I'm thinking a very fine felt tip pen might be better, and then we're going to oil over it, and that'll lock it in. So we'll see how we go. Let me think about that while we do this. We've got a lot to do, so let's get this stuff outside. I'll move this camera, and I'll be back in a second. Move you outside, and then we'll get that routed. Let's see how that looks. Ah, that looks pretty good. There's a few things on the line again. Hung out some laundry this morning, as you can see. Buddy will be somewhere in the sun there. He'll come down and say hi in a minute. Let's take this outside. Now, let's get our safety gear on first. So let's get our safety gear on. We'll grab our router. Let's set up our router. Okay, we need to change bits on this guy. We're going to take this off and put on the long bit with the two bearings on it. We're going to put the big long guy on there, which is this guy here. So, tighten that guy up. We'll get our safety gear on. We'll get outside. And we'll give it a red hot go, as they say. A red hot go. Okay. Pretty much where I want to be. About there is fine. Okay, we're good to go. Let's get our safety gear on. So, safety first. We need a mask. We need goggles. We need ear protection. So there's our mask. Put that guy on. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Leslie. Who we got? Country. Hello, guys. How you doing? Thank you for the follow. Awesome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. How are you all doing? Does anyone want to hear the words coming out of my mouth in the time period? Terry, you would be fine in the cabins. Yes, you would. You'd be fine. Lots of red wine, lots of cheese, 3,600 red wine, Burgundy. You'd be fine. Okay, let's get this going on. Goggles. Let's go.
my safety blanket. So I'm going to go really, really slowly, guys, because I need to be very careful of tear out with that oak. Okay, so I'm going to go very slowly. Hey, Hugs, how you going, mate? Good to see you. Just about to step outside and do a bit of routing, so bear with me. I won't be too long. Clamps! Terry, we need clamps. Just need to make an adjustment. We're going really well. Just need to adjust this this bit. It's very long and there's a little bit of wobble in there. I've got to just keep checking the tension, making sure it's tensioned properly. It does tend to loosen up a little bit sometimes. Make sure that it's going on. Looking really good. I'll show you guys in a minute. We're getting there. Thank you for the follow there, Country, earlier on. Appreciate that. We're almost there, guys. Nearly there. Okay, not too bad.
Not too bad at all, considering that Tasmanian oak is that grain is very prominent, and it does tend to tear out. We did pretty well. We've got a couple little tear outs. One there and one there, but it doesn't matter because they're getting carved away anyway. We're going to actually remove most of those when we carve the tops. So there it is there, all nice and flush. So we've got that flush. Okay, everything's... And now we're ready to put in the pockets. So we're going to mark those out. I'm going to bring that camera back in, and then we'll get that there. Briggs, what's going on? Hey, Hank Bud, what is happening, my friend? Welcome on in. Just did a bit of routing on this carved top. So we've got that top all carved out. That's Tasmanian oak. That is Queensland maple. It's a chambered 1F hole, 4 controls, 2 tones, 2 volumes, and 2 EMG pickups. This is a commission for someone. And we're about to just work on the pockets and the routing for those things there. How you doing, man? What did you get up to on the stream today, Hank? What did you get up to? I heard you were wet sanding. Are you wet sanding the Galactic Special, the blue and red Galaxy guitar? Is that what you're doing? Oh, just taking a break. I'm going to have a drink. Routing takes it out of me. I don't know. It's probably all that mask. Yes, you are. Excellent. I can't wait to see that. That's going to look fantastic. Is it 12K grit? Cheers, big ears. Or you're going to probably get it to 2,000 and then buff it. Cut and polish buff. Is that the deal? I should have it done this weekend. Awesome. No 12K. Rage. Nobody asked you. Yeah, you're probably going to buff the crap out of it. 2,000 then buffing the wheel. Yeah, that's what I thought. Cool. You're good at buffing wheels. I'm not. I burn through walls with buffing wheels. So I don't bother. I give the 12K. I've got Terry with the numbers. She's a numbers lady. We get it done. We get shit done. Rage, I will always ask you about 12K because I'm always hoping that you one day might say, yeah, just this once. Whew. Okay, so we are going to grab that camera, bring it back in, start working on pockets and things. So give me a sec. Okay, we're going to line up this guy here and we're going to start working on what we need to do. So we grab the neck for this guy, which is this Canadian flame maple. There's the neck for that, all oiled up and ready to go. Pretty much done. We're going to line this guy up. We're going to put a center line down here. We're going to line this guy up here on the 16th fret. We are going to make sure that everything is lined up and good to go. Let's get our center lines aligned. Center line there. Center line there. We're good to go there. We know what's going down. Okay, center lines are there. Let's get some tape on this guy here. Work out a center line. I've got soccer at 3 p.m. I've got another half hour, then I've got to go. But we could probably get this marked out and ready the next 15 minutes. Yay 2K, that's the one. Going to mark out a center line for this baby just to help with that alignment. our center line. Put a piece of tape on the 16th fret. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's the one that crosses over the joins, the body. So basically we slide that up until we hit that line there. Have a look at that. Yep, there. On that side there, 16th fret. So that's where it's going to be right there. So we're going to mark the base of that. We're going to clamp that down. Bang on 16. Yep, that's good. Okay, so there's our neck. We can now adjust that to suit. What we're going to do is we're going to check that straight edge down the middle. Bring that out. That is dead straight, dead center. Yep, that's looking great. So we're going to mark that as the pocket. Okay, we're going to cut inside those lines. We're just going to clamp this guy straight on like that. I'm going to pick that up and check the back, check the transition. How are we doing there? Yep, that's pretty good. That's exactly where we want to be. Yep, that's good. Check the frets, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Crosses over that side. I'm going to bring that down a little bit. I'm going to bring that down just a touch. I'm going to drop that down to the 17th. About there. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 to the 15th. It's going to do it right there. I'm going to leave that there. Let's line that guy up again. That's pretty good there. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I need to get it clamped on the right side. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. That's right. line up trick again. Check the back. Not quite. Okay, that's perfect right there. Okay, that's where we want the neck. Now I'm just going to check straightness, and then we're going to mark the pocket out. Straight edge again. This guy down here. Spot on, right there. Which is exactly where I had the other line. It's going to mark the new base of the pocket. Okay, that's the pocket there. That second line, not the first one. Alrighty. Spot on, that's what we want. Pickups. Let's grab our template. Humbuckers. Humbuckers. Where are you guys? Dark Shadow JP, how you doing? Thank you for the follow. And Hank Bud, thank you for the raid earlier on, brother. Really appreciate you for that. Thanks very much. Really appreciate it. Humbucker. Everybody say humbucker with me. Line that guy up. Double checking the distance between the two. I keep forgetting where I put them. Where's my ruler? There it is. Seven. Yeah. 7. Edge to edge. 70 millimeters further down. Line that out. There's our humbuckers. That's where they're going. That's where they're going. .25.5 inch scale. I'm just going to roughly mark out where the bridge is going. And we'll obviously won't do that until we actually get the bridge in our hands and double check everything. I'm going to mark this guy down. Just link in. Okay. That. So 25.5 is roughly that. Double check that. I've actually already marked that guy there. Use the shorter rule. Do the double check with the shorter rule. So we want 12 3/4. 12 3/4 to the 12th fret. That is exactly 12 3/4 right there. And we want 12 3/4 from the 12th fret to this guy. There. So double check that with a long dude. So on the 4, so 29.5 will be 25.5, 29.5. Yeah, okay, good. We got it. It's our bridge line there. That bridge will sit somewhere like that. Then the bridge posts will be there. Now what that allows us to do is get the carve specifics done, right? So we know we're going to carve this guy around here. We need to do several carves. And mark out the carvings. How are we doing for time? Let me just double check that. Okay, we've got a bit of time left, 15 minutes. Let's get the carves down. So the first things first is we need to get the outside perimeter done of this carve, okay? And that's going to go from here. Like that. We need 7 of these lines, 7/16 of an inch from the edge. Okay, so we're going to go 7/16, 1/16, 2/16, 3/16, 4. That's the depth that we've got to drop. What do we got? Virtual Gopher, what's going on? 7 months subscribed. Thank you very much, man. Monkey D. Luffy for the follow. Thank you very much. Tatum44 for the follow. Thank you earlier on. Dak Shadow JP earlier on. And thank you guys for being here. Gopher, what's going on, brother? What are you working on? What are you working on, my friend? Get these nice and narrow in here. Okay, we bring it into the waistline here. We tighten it up in there. It's a bit of a drop off there. Okay, now we've got a circle here. Four. Five. Six. And 7. Seven. That's our carve. Okay, there are our profiles. Very flat up here, dropping away there. All that's carving away, okay? So that's what we're going to do there. Willie won't go with the gifted sub to Brizey. Thank you very much. Brizey, how you going, mate? Good to see you. Welcome on in. Good to have you here. always cleaning up and organising. That's always the way to go. That's always the way to go, mate. I need to do more of that. I'm just going to go over these again now with a felt pen, just to make sure I've got them all visible and correct. One. Two. Three. 4. 5. 6. 7. That's the carve there, guys and girls. That's what we're going to work with. Okay, we've got the bridge across here. We've got the pins in here. That'll be flat, and it's all going to fall away from there. So we start that by going all the way down. So let's mark 7/16. Let me put my glasses on because I can't see jack. One, two, three, four, 8, 9, 10, 8, 7. 7's there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we've got binding to go in there. So let's mark 7/16. 2, 4, 6. Let's go 8/16 there. Okay. That leaves us that much before we get to the glue line. We need a binding in there. And this binding is this stuff here. And that should be perfect. Right on the line. There we go. Okay. So that binding, you can see what we've got here is there's ½ inch. ½ inch there. The binding will go from there all the way around there, right to the join line. So we're going to actually route the thickness of that binding, which is about 2 millimeters, all the way around to get us that channel. The binding will sit in there, and then the rest will be staggered in 1/16 of an inch increments, or about 1.5 millimeters, until we get to the top. Okay, so we're just going to mark that quickly as 1/2 inch there, or 8/16 if you want to be specific. Just going to double check that up here, making sure it's all checked, it all checks out. 1/2 inch, perfect, perfect. Yep, that's all good. There we go. We've got our binding channel line all the way around there, and that will be carved. Highest spot here, lower, 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 until we join the top of that binding, and so it'll slope uphill. And that, my friends, is where we're going to leave it for today. Thank you very much. Let's see what we've got going on in terms of raids. Let's have a look here. Who's on? Who is on 26? Let me check my phone. Bring up the client, see what's going on. We've got... Who's on, baby boy? What's going on? Come on. Let's see. Come on, where are you? Okay. Let me flick over to here. Nathan Cavalieri, Lucy, Immersive Sinner, JMO's on. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to raid anyone. Actually, we'll raid Lucy. Western Australian girl, fishing. She's a cack, as they say. Let's go. 4,000 teal. Thank you very much, guys and girls. I really appreciate you today. I'm going to have a day off tomorrow. I'll be back in 2 days' time, so keep an eye out. Look after each other. Have a great weekend. Good night, everybody, if you're not hanging around. Buddha, what's going on, buddy? Thank you for the 200 bits earlier on. Willie won't go. Thank you for the tier 1 as well. Gifted to Brizzy. I appreciate you guys being here. I will see you again in a couple of days. Have a good weekend. Till then, though, stick around if you want to watch a kooky Western Australian girl fishing. She's a lot of fun. I'll be back then. I'll see you then. Until then, bye for now.